Carson, you're up.
Hello. One nation under God. What does that mean to you? Why did we put that there? Because, in fact, this nation, like Israel, has been a nation that has been dedicated to Judeo-Christian principles and godly principles of loving your fellow man, caring about your neighbor, developing your God-given talents to the utmost so that you become valuable to the people around you. Such incredibly important principles. And every coin in your pocket and every bill in your wallet says, "In God we trust." Are those just empty words? Or is there a relationship there? Certainly there was in the beginning. And we trusted a lot in God. We were a bunch of ragtag militiamen fighting against the most powerful empire on earth for our freedom. The likelihood of success was almost zero. And yet, in God we trusted. And God did deliver us. And in our founding documents, we talk about our God-given rights: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The emphasis be on God-given rights, not government-given rights. Only God can give us those rights. Government cannot take them from us. We must remember that. That is very important, that we stand up for those beliefs. And that requires courage. And one of the things that Alexis de Tocqueville mentioned heavily in Democracy in America, his 2-volume set analyzing America, because the Europeans were fascinated that this fledgling nation, barely 50 years old, was already competing with them on virtually every level. And de Tocqueville said that Americans got their courage from the pulpits, from the fiery sermons that stimulated their minds and their hearts. And that same courage is needed today as we face some of the most horrendous things ever known to man. Have you ever seen an abortion? On the screen, you see the little head with the nose and eyes and ears and the arms and the legs, and its heart is beating and it's moving around. And then you introduce this tube. In many cases, it tries to move away from the tube before it dismantles and sucks that baby up. How can we live with that? And yet, 60 million such procedures have been carried out in our nation. And then our absolute destruction of the institution that God put forth for families, and that is marriage between a man and a woman, and how we've distorted that. Doesn't mean that we shouldn't love everybody. We should. We have that duty. But loving people doesn't mean that we destroy the principles that God has set forth. And that's why repentance is needed. That's why reconciliation is needed. That's why a revival is needed in our nation. And I think we're going to have one. And each of us plays a role in that, in our sphere of influence. So please continue the momentum that's been generated and will be generated through this renewal revival. Thank you, and God bless.
So you just heard those taped remarks there from Dr. Ben Carson, the former Secretary for Housing and Urban Development, and of course, a 2016 presidential candidate here in the United States. We're going to have much more coming up as we bring you the live coverage from Plant City, Florida of the Renewal here on Real America's Voice. Stick around.